Not long ago, planetary scientists from the California Institute of Technology made a startling announcement on an equally startling matter. They found something that could have explained a perplexing astronomical mystery, that is, our Sun has still 6 degrees to its equator. What's up, YouTube? It's JT at X Science again. This time, I'm bringing you another piece of information that has much to do with the mysterious planet X, as well as some portraits of the recent change in the water circulation across the globe. Let's start by getting back to the announcement that I mentioned at the start of the video. According to the analysis of California Institute of Technology planetary scientists, a massive presence within our solar system has still the Sun as well as other planets. The planets in our solar system, including the Earth, orbit on a flat plane within a few degrees of one another, respective to the Sun, known as the ecliptic plane. With the tilt, however, the Sun is not aligned the way it should be on this plane. Why this change? The Sun is the most massive object with the most gravitational pull within not only our system, but also in a vast swath of space between our system and the closest neighbor, assuming there is nothing else in that space. This means there should be nothing big enough to affect the balance of the Sun. There are many theories on the cause of the tilting, including a suggestion of an imbalance in the mass of the Sun's core. But the theory that grabbed the most attention is that our Sun is orbited by an undiscovered massive planet that is more than 10 times the size of the Earth, and has a precarious orbit called a retrograde movement. With this kind of orbit similar to that of a comet, depending on its position related to the Sun, that existence can create from little to a tremendous impact on our solar system. An astronomer named Percival Lowell actually predicted the existence of another planet beyond Neptune. According to his calculation, the only way for Neptune and Uranus to have their present orbits is the existence of another large planet out of sight in the far reaches of a solar system, with enough gravity to interfere with the two gas giants. Lowell also named the odd entity Planet X in 1906, and continues to pursue the elusive planet until his death in 1916. Then, in 1930s, astronomer Clyde Tombaugh announced the discoveries of Pluto at the Flagstaff, Arizona observatory. The planet was discovered in just about the precise location where Lowell's calculations has determined Planet X to be, but it was too small to cause a disturbance in the orbits of Neptune, let alone Uranus, and in 2006 it was reclassified as a dwarf planet. Back to the present. The collections of evidence that a giant presence is waiting to be discovered in the cold darkness of space beyond Neptune is growing. Which evidence? The very abnormal changes whose number relentlessly increased in the recent years and still escalating. So what would happen as the unknown planet closes in? On one hand, we have the more normal possibilities, that is, natural events, that includes volcanoes and earthquakes, extreme weather, and unprecedented solar activities. On the other hand, we may face rare and unusual events that happen only once in thousands or millions of years. For example, a shift in the Earth's axis, a mass melting of polar cap, and last and most terrifying, a shift in the magnetic poles. Anything of these events would have overwhelming impact on the social, economic, and political structure of humanity, akin to what described as the apocalypse in many religions. Maybe it's time to start writing epic chronicles and bury them so that maybe one day in the far future, our succeeding generations can have some cool story from a mysterious ancient civilization. Enough with the unknown space. Now let's go over some recent events on Earth that was part of many changes happening in our time. First, let's have a look at this impressive footage from Brazil, where intense flash floods hit some areas, including Belo Horizonte, sweeping away dozens of vehicles. According to civil defense authorities, in the span of only 20 minutes, the region received half of its average historical monthly rain. Meanwhile, hailstorms are becoming more and more a frequent occurrence. Like torrential inundating rains, they leave a part of destruction in their wakes, so the more frequent they become, the more serious of a threat they pose. On March 18th, a powerful hailstorm swept across several counties in Texas. These rare satellite images from the NOAA showed the extent of the haystack that was left behind by severe storm across this region. The two bands shown above present the amount of hay lying on the ground as observed from space. On the upper right is a sequence of haze occurs as indicated by the radars, while on the lower right are the tracks from stronger rotating storm. This photo from Twitter shows a large haze striking Texas cities of Carwell and Vaco. This video compilation shows a time-lapse on the supercell that moved into the region, followed by the immense hailstorm that produced baseball-sized hail. As immense as the hail that fell in north-central Texas was, the hailstorm that struck in northern Alabama on March 19 was truly terrifying. It virtually destroyed everything in its path, with hail the size of softballs crashing down on cars and buildings, smashing through windows and causing ceilings to collapse. Watch this footage from the city of Coleman and Madison County, Alabama, to see the intensities of the hailstorm. Before ending the video today, let me give you another small but significant evidence of the change in the pattern of weather. Spring arrived late for many people living in the Canadian province of New Brunswick this March, despite the arrival of spring equinox. A series of 3 nor'easter storms in March put the province in peril, with snow many feet thick. The thick snows knocked out power to thousands of households. These images from Bathurst show the stark difference before and after the snowfall. I have been coming across a lot of fake second sun images and videos all over the internet. And it is really baffling to me that these people who are confused or attention-seeking make up a lot of stories around the fake evidence and feel further confusion and panic. I mean, look at this photo here. There are clearly 3 spots of lens flare. I mean, everyone can tell those are lens flares. Yet, a not so small Planet X channel claimed that those are 3 objects in the sky aligning. And I'm seriously concerned that people actually believe in that. It is talks and photos like these frauds that make people like us, the ones who really want to keep the public informed, lose gravity in our arguments. Hello everyone, it's JT here at X Science. As you can tell, I am quite upset at the moment because frauds like these are all over the place, and somehow a lot of people in the panics and confusion believe in these things. And so today I want to tell you 2 things. First, I want you to take a look at our videos about lens flares and camera errors, both of which are very recent, to make yourself informed of how to distinguish frauds and real objects captured in the sky. I seriously mean it, and I would really like you guys to do that before continuing this video. I'll put the links to those 2 videos in the description box of this video, so please watch them now. They are not too long and they are very important for you to tell whether or not I'm bringing real captures of weird objects in the later part of this video or not. Okay, now that you are equipped with the basic skills to tell the lens flare and the real object apart, let's go to these photos and footage together. Right, first one. This was captured in this February in New York City. So is it real or fake? Think about it yourself, and I'm going to tell you the answer in a bit. Okay, got your answers? Well, it's real, because these other 2 objects next to the sun are both partially blocked out of view by the branches. Therefore, they are a real light source and not a flare. Also, in case you are wondering why no branch blocked out parts of the sun, well, that's because the sun is too bright and these branches are too thin. The other 2 objects are dimmers, and so only they were blocked out a bit. Okay, next one. Real or fake? Answers in a few seconds. Yes, this one is also real. You can see the second sun is blocked out of sight by the clouds in front of it. Again, our sun doesn't seem to be blocked, but this is only because of its intense brightness, and it is actually blocked a bit because you can see the top part of it is a bit flatter than the bottom parts. That's because what we see on the top is not the real sun, but only its bright light flaring through the clouds. But the second, smaller and not as bright object's top part is blocked out completely by the same cloud. How about this photo here? Okay, so this is quite a similar case compared to the photo in the beginning of this video. You can see a beam of lens flare, not only in the sky but also before the rocky background. If I were the channel that I allude to in the beginning, I would tell you that we are having 9 weird planetary objects visible and aligning in the sky, ignoring the fact that a 5 years old can tell those are lens flares. The moral of the story again is Don't believe everything that you guys see or hear on the internet. Here's another photo of lens flare that can be made up into a system of 7 planets aligning. Please, those flares, these little ones, might be more solid, but they are still nothing than flares. In case you don't know, planets do not shine. They reflect lights, and therefore when the sun is that bright, they simply cannot be visible, especially if they appear that small. Here are some more difficult cases. These 4 photos. Now let's go through them from top left and follow a clockwise direction. The first one might seem convincing because both suns are partially blocked out by the clouds. But if you investigate closely, you can see that the block made by the clouds as well as the lights and flares around the two suns are exactly the same. Even their sides are the same. This is of course impossible in reality. So this is a very good Photoshop product that we are looking at, guys. So again, be very careful when it comes to these topics. That's the second one. This one is a real captures because you can see a bit of the bottom part of the sun is blocked out of view. Then the third one is only lens flare because it is transparent and it appears in front of the grassy background and not blocked out at all. The last one is a difficult case. It looks real, but the second sun is too big and too bright, so I would still say that it is likely fake. The conclusion here is that some of these attention seekers may put a ton of photos and footage together, but only 1 or 2 is real, and they want to make you confused and keep watching them. Speaking of footage, I have this really interesting one taken in February this year. You can see the second sun is not very visible until you zoom in and you can see it blocked out by one of those electric pillar thingies, indicating that it is actually there. And that's all for today, guys. Please be careful when evaluating this proof that you see on the webs, and also choose your information provider carefully. By the way, subscribe to us because we have videos and updates coming out very often. Until we meet again, stay safe and look to the sky, guys. This is JT at X Science, signing out. Extreme climate phenomena are taking place in every corner of the globe, and scientists are saying that what accounts for all these strange phenomena is climate change and man-made pollution. But it's actually much more complicated, and none of us has sufficient data to substantiate the real reason, and so the authorities easily kept us in the dark for the sake of crowd control and group interest. Hi everyone, this is JT at X Science, and today we are talking about climate change. But no, I don't mean the greenhouse gases and call it house. I don't deny that we are causing part of the problem of global warming, but these sudden and extreme changes are caused by something much bigger and more disastrous. I guess many of you in the audience already know what we are talking about. Yeah, Planet X is coming. Although that this is the first time you have heard about Planet X, it's a planet or even a system of planets and a dwarf star that used to lurk somewhere beyond the known planets, and it's on a trajectory towards Earth. Many scientists, even the famous Carlos Mano Parada, have confirmed its existence. Meanwhile, NASA, the United States government, and the likes have been doing their best to cover up its arrival and hide the extreme planet change from the public. They have used many ways, from lowering the earthquake scale to underreported number of big earthquakes, to spraying mist into the atmosphere to hide the system of Nibiru from us. Of course, they have been confronted many times by the public, and every time they denied it and called it an internet hoax. Here's one video of the case.
I realize you're focusing on near-Earth asteroids today, but there's been so much talk about the potential for finding a Planet X or some sort of large body through the WISE survey. Can you comment on any status on that sort of search, or maybe even reassure people that Planet X isn't coming to get them next year?
Yes, this is Amy Meinzer. I'm happy to answer this one. Planet X is not coming to get us. But we are looking to see if there are any other bodies in the outer part of the solar system with the WISE data. This is a very natural project for WISE. And so we're still working on it right now. We've obviously just returned a huge amount of data from the telescope. It's going to take us a long time to sort through. But the initial results are very promising. You may have seen earlier results where we've discovered a new class of very cool type of stars with WISE. But the search is still on, and we don't think that there's anything that's hazardous in the outer solar system. We think that this is just a sort of if there is something out there, it would be a large body in a roughly circular orbit.
As you can see, they would never admit that a whole system of planets is coming, destroying all that we have ever known about geology and magnetic fields on Earth, and send the whole planet into a series of mass extinction and planetary scale civilization destruction. I mean, how are you going to keep your political agenda and control your crown when they know that the world is ending and you only have planned for you and elites like you? Now back to the extreme event. Everyone probably still recall the Hurricane Matthews in October 2016. The superstorm sustained a wind speed of 145 miles per hour and wreaked havoc upon the Caribbean. The thing is, as Nibiru approaches and its gravity increases the Earth wobble, things like Hurricane Matthew will be the new normal. A recent extreme disaster that probably everyone knows is a super flood in Japan. But that's not all. A mega heat wave is currently hitting Europe, and places like Belgium has reached 40 degrees Celsius, and that is unprecedented. The internal core of the Earth is also disrupted by the approaching Planet X system, and therefore earthquakes and volcanic activities have been on the rise. We all know Mount Kilauea has been active for 3 months now, and there is still no sign of its calming down. And even worse, there have been cracks in the area around the Yellowstone volcano. Yellowstone is one of the biggest volcanoes on Earth, and its eruption would spell doom for many people and species. In case you don't know, a major volcanic eruption would spill more pollutant into the atmosphere than humans have ever done. Around 250 million years ago, a big volcanic eruption caused a mass extinction. This is death on a global scale we are talking about. And that is not the worst, because when Nibiru comes really close, we will be showered with its meteors, and our Earth's magnetic pole will completely flip. I don't know how much that will affect us, but I know that the effect will definitely be not small. If all these anomalies are still not enough to convince you of an inevitable end of the world, these following footage will. And I'm about to show you guys some of the clips taken in Brazil and published by our fellow channel Skywatch Media. They show the two suns phenomenon, and for your information, the second smaller sun that we see in the skies is the arriving system of Planet X. Now, the first clip I will show you was captured in Brazil in April 2016. Then there will be a still images that is taken in September 2016. So here you have it. What you can see from both footages is a second sun in the sky, and as I have said before, the smaller one is a planet or the dwarf star at the center of the system of Nibiru. You can see it radiating a bright red color. That's because its composition is a lot of iron oxide. Did you notice the difference? Well, the images in September clearly shows a second sun much bigger than the one in the videos in April. Here's an image for you to look at again. What does that mean? Well, if the same thing is bigger, then is it definitely closer? In other words, Planet X is approaching, and it is approaching fast, and we are on the fringe of extinction, I tell you. This is no joke. Here we have another video captured in Italy. Look closely at the top left corner and you can clearly see two suns in the sky, and this footage was also in September of 2016. Here we have it in reverse colors, and in my opinion, this is the best reverse color videos ever that reveals the existence of the system of Nibiru or Planet X or Wormwood or Nemesis or whatever you would like to call it. Are you convinced now? And these are not the only two footages we have. Do a bit of research and you'll find out that people around the world can see Nibiru, from both North and South America to Europe and even to Australia. This fact completely aligns with what Carlos Mundo Ferrada tells us. Hercolubus, as is called Planet X, will be visible to the naked eyes. Mr. Ferrada is a very respected astrophysicist and astronomer who have calculated precisely many natural events terrestrially and extraterrestrially, including the change in the trajectories of Halley comets. I know there is probably a lot going on in your minds right now, especially if you are a newbie or deniers of a subject. But let me tell you, you can't find the official sources because they won't let you. You have to use your logics and what legitimate scientists have said to connect the dots and see the big pictures that governments have been hiding from you from me and from all of us. You can also watch our other videos on the subject to see the sources and logics in all the information that we are giving you. Also, give us a subscribe because we always try our best to give you a head up if anything goes wrong. And we would also appreciate you guys giving us heads up because we alone can't keep a watchful eyes on the whole sky. So stay safe guys and look to the sky. Be tuned in for more. This is JT at X Science signing out.